everybody, welcome back to Epic Beauty Fail. I'm Jessica, and on today's video I'm going to just be doing a get ready with me. It's probably going to be really chatty. I'm actually filming this on Mother's Day, and I figured I'd talk a little bit about what being a mother means to me. So I'm happy you joined me today. I know this is not actually posting until the Friday after Mother's Day, but today is Mother's Day for me, so I'm going to be getting ready to go out and spend some time with my family, and I wanted to look really nice today, so I straightened my hair, and I'm going to put on a makeup face, and I'm going to put on some makeup, so I'm happy you joined me. Alright, first thing I got to do is get this hair out of my way, because there's no way I'm working with this the whole time, so not going to happen. Pull this out of the way. So now that I got my hair out of my way, I'm going to get started. I'm going to be using a lot of my new makeup that I just got in my haul video that I posted on Wednesday. So some of these things are some oldies and some are new things that I'm using. So we're going to get into it. First of all, I'm going to be using my Viseart eyeshadow palette, just the Petite Pro palette, not the big colorful one that I showed you. So I'm just going to be using this little one here. So before I actually start that, I am going to put a little bit of moisturizer on. I'm going to be using the Milk Makeup Cooling Water Stick. Just putting this on as kind of like a moisturizer. And if you've not used this before, I actually really like this a lot. I do have the Milk Blur Stick as well, and I prefer this. I mean, they're two different products, but I do actually really like this product a lot. So I'm just going to get that into my skin. Next, I'm going to be using the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. This is just a little sample I have. I have several of the samples. I also have several of the larger size ones as well. So I'm just going to start with this. Get this all into my skin. Alright, now that my face is all primed up, I'm actually going to move on to my eyes first, because I know I have a tendency to have a lot of fallout. So I'm going to move on to my eyes. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my MAC Painterly Paint Pot, and I'm just going to get a little bit of that and use that as an eye primer. I know I've told you all how old I am. I am 38. I'm not sure that my teenager has ever been on this channel, however. If you've seen me on one of my other channels, I actually do 3 channels. If you've seen one of my other channels, you may have seen my teenager, Neil, who is 17 years old. So he will be 18 this year. So I was a very young mother. I actually had Neil when I was 20 years old. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for everyone. In fact, it was not always easy. It was actually more difficult than easy. But I don't regret anything when it comes to my children. I think I am extremely happy with them and extremely happy with how everything has happened in our lives. So John and I actually had Neil very young. I was only 20 when I had Neil, and John was 25. So we were very young parents. Me more so than John, but either way, we were both still very young parents. Okay, so here's my Petite Pro palette. This is available at Sephora. I'm going to go in with, I don't think these have colors on them, so I'm going to go in with the pale color right here just to set that paint pot, the primer. So, you know, we had him very young. John actually made too much money for us to go on any sort of assistance, and I was working a part-time job, going to school full-time, and staying at home with Neil as a stay-at-home mom. And actually, while I was pregnant with him, I had a full-time job, a part-time job, and I was going to school full-time. I didn't usually let a lot of stuff stop me. So, you know, we didn't have a whole lot. We had an apartment, which, you know, was actually fairly nice. We had a 2-bedroom townhouse that we rented. Next, real quick before I continue, I'm going to go in with the light brown matte here. It's actually lighter brown than it's showing up on the screen, it looks like, but I'm going to use that in my crease as my transition color. So we had a townhouse that we were renting before when I was pregnant. Now, part of that reason was we were going to buy a house, and we were looking and looking and looking, and you know, in our price range, because we really didn't have a whole lot of money, in our price range, we pretty much everything we would have bought would have been a fixer-upper. And given our ages and given our situation with financial stability and being new parents and everything else, we just really didn't want to get into a mortgage with a house that was a fixer-upper, because we didn't know for sure how well we'd be able to handle that with a new baby and everything else. Plus, I was going to be giving up my full-time job to stay home with Neil and raise him while I was finishing my school, which I did do. I didn't actually graduate with my bachelor's degree until I was 24, but I didn't quit school. I actually cut back to part-time after I had Neil. I cut back to part-time school, part-time work, and full-time mom. At least initially when he was born. When he was a year old, I did go back to school full-time. So I did a lot of online classes. I also did some in class, but like my younger sister who's been on this channel, Beth, she is 3 years younger than me, so she would, we would trade off. I would drive her to classes because she was in college, and when I had a day class, which I only had like 1 or 2 day classes, she would babysit Neil while I would go to my day classes. Alright, so next I'm going to actually go in with the reddish color here, and I'm just going to put that like on the outside of my eye. So yeah, Beth would actually help with babysitting baby Neil, and she used to call him Uncle Beth. Because we didn't have a lot of aunts. Neil did not have a lot of aunts, at least initially when he was born. So as he was learning how to speak, he learned uncle really easily and just didn't really know aunt. So he used to call Beth Uncle Beth, which it is what it is. It was really cute at the time. But anyway, I was still going to school full-time, and John was working full-time and supporting us, and I had a part-time job. So, and I used to do other little things, like I delivered papers for a while early in the morning before John went to work, and you know, I used to do whatever I could to try to help out in making money to support the family. So we did the best we could. We were young parents, but we really didn't let anything stop us. You know, I graduated from college when Neil was 3 years old, and I went to work right away. I'm just gonna get a clean brush, and I'm gonna blend that all together real quick. When I first went back to work full-time, Neil struggled. So he was in daycare for the first time at 3½, and he really struggled with that. We sent him to a daycare that was really well known at the time, and it wasn't a bad daycare. It's just that they couldn't really handle him. I'm going to put a little bit of this champagne color here. It does have a sparkle with it. I'm going to actually pack that on my eyelid. So, you know, Neil went from a situation where he was pretty much allowed to do a lot of what he wanted to do. I mean, I was home full time, so I kept him at home, and he pretty much had the run of the household. I mean, I'm actually kind of a strict parent. I'm not like super strict, but I'm not a very laid back parent either. You know, Neil had rules. It wasn't that he was allowed to just run free, but he also wasn't used to having the regimented program that is in a daycare. So, you know, they wanted him to take a nap when it was nap time. They wanted him to eat when it was snack time, eat when it was lunchtime, and do work when it was time to do work, and that sort of thing. And we didn't really have like a super strict schedule at home. So he struggled a lot initially when we put him in daycare. And it got to the point where, like, I would drop him off, he would be in tears, I would be in tears, and it was just not fun at all. I considered quitting my job because of how much of a struggle he was having. He did also have, I'm going to take this dark color here and just pack it on the outside. He also was a little bit delayed in speech. So he was not speaking at the same level as some of the other kids his age, which I think also caused him some strife, because he, you know, he was trying to meet new kids and he was trying to learn the rules, and he just wasn't speaking or understanding language at the same level as the other children in the classroom. So, long story short, what it came down to was, all right, I think I got a little bit too dark, so I'm going to go back in with the original transition color and just lighten that up a little bit. This one right here, the light brown. So what it ended up coming down to was the daycare center pretty much said, you know, if you want to keep him here, you got to pay for him to have an aide out of your pocket. And of course, you know, we were just starting to pay off some of the debt that we had accrued while I wasn't working, and that wasn't going to happen. So I went through and interviewed a couple of different in-home daycares in Pennsylvania here. They are licensed. They, you know, they have to be licensed by the state, and they were, you know, definitely part of the licensing program and all that stuff. So it was a licensed in-home daycare. So, okay, I'm going to take the light color, this one right here that I used initially, and I'm just going to put that along my brow bone. So it was a good daycare. It wasn't, you know, we ended up going with a woman who worked, she actually lived right around the corner from John's job. So it was real close in case of an emergency or whatever. It worked out really well. And she only had 6 kids in her daycare, which we were very happy about, because it meant that he had more attention. And although she was the licensed daycare provider, her husband was a disabled veteran, and he was at home too. So, like, they both had to pass all their background checks and everything, so we knew he was safe. But there was actually 2 adults to 6 children in the building, in the home. So it actually was pretty nice. She to this day, we are friends on Facebook, even though Neil is now almost 18 years old. So she's a wonderful woman, absolutely wonderful, very caring, very loving. We were very lucky to find her, and she actually really had a very big impact on Neil. His speech grew tremendously during that time period, and overall it was just a really good experience for all of us. Alright, so I think I'm done with my eyeshadow. I am going to, okay, for my eyelashes, I'm going to be using my Clinique Chubby Lash Fattening Mascara in the color Bodacious Black Honey. So she's Miss Jo. Miss Jo, we love Miss Jo. She was a very, very good, she actually had a lot to do with Neil, and his development during that time. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I can never talk and do mascara at the same time. I'm going to use, on my upper lash line, I'm going to use Intense Black Honey. This is the quick liner for eyes from Clinique. I'm going to put that on as well. So So Miss Jo was actually a fantastic influence on Neil. I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs, this is the highliner in the color, this is in the buff, and I'm going to use this on my waterline. So, overall, Neil's first experience in daycare was not exactly a good one, but we went into Miss Jo's and it actually worked out really well. He learned, his speech caught up. She was very patient with him in teaching him different things, and because there was only 6 kids there as well as the 2 adults, it actually ended up working out really, really well. Like, she would take him to the pool. We bought pool passes, and he got to go to the pool in the summer and the park and all sorts of stuff that you don't get to do when you're in a standard normal daycare situation. So it worked out really, really well for him. You know, because we were such young parents, we really shied away from having kids too close together, which is why Nicholas is actually 7.5 years younger than Neil. And Nicholas has presented his own challenges. He does have autism. I don't know that came through in the one video that he was in. But Nicholas does have autism, and he is a fighter. He fights every day, and as far as I'm concerned, he's winning. So, but Nicholas, like I said, has his own set of problems that he deals with as he's growing up as well. Let's see, what do I want to do next? Okay, next I'm going to put on some foundation. I think I'm done with my eyes. I think that's the look that I'm going to just go with today. It's more of a neutral color, and that's just fine. I'm not going to go too much in with like anything on the inside. I think I'm just going to leave it just like it is. And that's going to be my eye look. So I'm going to go ahead and move into my foundation. I'm going to be using the Sephora Perfection Mist Airbrush Foundation. And I'm going to be using the flat top buffing foundation brush from IT Cosmetics. So, you know, Nick is amazing. He's an amazing young man. He really, really is. When he was born, he actually was holding his umbilical cord. He tore his umbilical cord on the way out. The people in the hospital gave him the nickname Bruiser because of that. So, yeah. Both of my children were large babies. Nicholas was 10 pounds, 3.4 ounces at birth, and Neil was 9 pounds, half an ounce. So, big babies. But honestly, I don't know where I would be in life if I didn't have them. You know, some people choose not to have children, and that is totally okay. That is your choice. If you don't want to have kids, you don't have kids. I've met a lot of women that I've had friendships with who just flat out said they did not want children. They did not have that need in their life to have kids, and that's fine. I am all for knowing yourself and knowing what you want, and if that's not something you want, then that's fine. You know, we have the 2 kids, and I love them both, and I can't imagine my life without them. But then, you know, my one brother has 6 children, so he wanted a lot of kids. Now I'm one of 6, and my sister-in-law is one of 5. So they wanted a lot of kids, and they're having them, and I'm really happy for them for that. And I love all of my nieces and nephews. They're a lot of fun to hang out with and play with, all my nieces and nephews. So, I'm happy my brother's having 6 children. And, you know, I still have some siblings who don't have children who want children. And that's cool too. I mean, I was a young parent. My sister wants kids and she is in her 30s. So she can still have them. She's not too old. So I might still have a lot more nieces and nephews to come. We shall see. Only time will tell. So for some reason that's not sticking to my nose very well. It's still not sticking to my nose real well, but I don't have a damp beauty blender here with me, so I'm just going to go with that because I'm not going to worry about that too much right now. And I just wanted a very light coverage, so that actually turned out alright for me. Okay, moving on. I'm going to be using the Tarte Shape Tape. This is in the color Light. This one's a little bit dark for me. But again, I'm just going to hang out with family, so I decided I'd go ahead and use this one rather than the fair one that's more my color. So, and I'm not going to put a lot of this on. I'm just going to put a little bit on my under eyes and a little bit on a couple blemishes I have. Right here, right here, and I think that's it. Right there. Alright, I'm just going to use a brush to blend this in because I didn't bring, like I said, I didn't bring a wet beauty blender. So I'm just going to get that blended in. I know a wet sponge would have done a better job, but I'm going to work with what I got going on here. Alright, I'm going to use a little bit of the Laura Mercier powder and get that powdered up real quick so that it doesn't get too creasy. So anyway, Nicholas, actually my mother-in-law retired. I had Nick when I was 28. Yeah, 28. I was 28 when I had Nick. So I was a little bit of an older parent with him than with Neil. But he's a lot of fun. He is a lot of fun. And actually we did something a little bit out of the norm. With Nicholas, John did not have his degrees when he was in his 20s. So when we had Nick, I was 28 and John was 33, and John still had not graduated college. Now he had been going to college the whole time, just like one class here, one class there, but he had not graduated yet. So when we had Nick, John actually quit his job and stayed home and took care of Nicholas. Now John was going to school, and my mother-in-law was actually retired at the same time. I'm going to use this brush and go into my Cocoa Contour palette in this color right here. Just give myself a little bit of a contour. Nothing too dramatic because, like I said, I'm just going to family's house. This is the medium cocoa color. So John's mother, my mother-in-law, had retired right around this time. Like, I don't know if it was that year or maybe the year after we had Nick, somewhere in there. And while John was taking classes, if he had it like in-person class, my mother-in-law would babysit Nicholas. So she actually babysat him until he was 4 or 5. He might have been 5 at the time. When John graduated college and went to work. And I'm not sure that I've mentioned it here before, but John is a teacher. And believe it or not, he actually got his degree in special education. I don't know if it was because, you know, he was at home with Nicholas and he had some inkling that Nick might have autism or what, but that's what he does. He's a special education teacher. I'm going to be using the Laura Geller Blush and Brighten Baked blush in the color Sunswept. So, I mean, John's original major was in English. He was going to be an English teacher, a high school English teacher. He's actually certified to teach grades 7 through 12. English, and then he went on immediately and got his master's degree in special education. So, I've got to blend that. Looks like I got punched in the cheek. Anyway, so yeah, he works with students with autism, and you know, we try to employ different things that he's learned in school while raising Neil and Nicholas, even though Neil technically is not any sort of diagnoses of special education. But, you know, I think every child has their own intricacies that require some special attention. I did forget, I'm going to actually try to contour my nose a little bit. I'm just going to use this little brush here. I'm going to go back in with that medium cocoa color and try to do a little bit of contouring on my nose. So, you know, I really, we've come a long way since I first became a parent of my son Neil. I feel like all this is doing is brushing off the foundation. I don't know what's going on with this foundation. I've worn this foundation before and I've never had a problem like this. Maybe it's the difference between the brush and the difference between the brush and the beauty blender. And all I feel like I did was just wear off my foundation. Okay, I'm going to keep trying to figure out how to contour my nose. Haven't figured it out yet. Alright, I'm going to go into my Sephora. This is my luminizing palette. And I think what I'm going to use today is just this color here. I don't think this has colors on it. I'm just going to use this golden color here as my highlight. I just want a soft highlight. I don't want anything like super bright. We'll see how it goes. So, you know, I think we've accomplished a lot, John and I, since becoming parents. I'm very proud of my children and what they're accomplishing. Neil is currently in college, even though he's still in high school. He's about to start his senior year in high school, and he's actually going to be spending his senior year going to college. So I'm very, very proud of Neil. I'm very, very proud of Neil. He is an amazing young man. He makes me want to be a better mom and a better person every day. His goal is to major in psychology, and he wants to be a licensed psychologist, and he told me his whole goal in life is to help people. So I'm really proud of him. I'm going to go ahead and set my face with my Laura Mercier powder real quick. I am going to be using my Kat Von D Everlasting lip products. This is the lip liner and the liquid lipstick, both in the color Lolita. Excuse me for a second while I put my lipstick on. This is the first time I'm using the Kat Von D lipstick. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I like the color. I think the color's nice. I just don't know that I like the formula. Alright, I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last spray real quick. So this is my final look that I'm going to wear to go out with my family today. I'm going to call John up and see what he thinks. But just before he comes up, I just want to say one final thing, and that is that I'm really proud of my kids. Neil is, I believe, going to be an amazing adult here very, very soon. He's going to be 18 this year. And Nicholas is going to be an amazing kid for the next couple of years, and then he's going to probably surprise the crap out of you as he turns into adulthood. So I wouldn't change being a mom for anything in the world. It's what was best for me. So I'm going to go grab John and I will be right back.
So now, is this a one thing look, or what am I looking at here?
no, so this is all over the place, but pretty much I just decided to be chatty, get ready with me today, and I talked all about being a mom.
Oh, okay. All right.
You ready?
Let's have it.
Okie dokie.
Oh. Okay.
What do you think?
So, I like the brownish eyes.
Okay.
Brownish pinkish eyes, it looks like. I like the red, or the red
The
lipstick.
mauve.
The mauve, my mistake. The mauve lipstick.
Okay.
Did you do a smoky thing? A smoky eye thingy? No?
No.
It's just a grayish color that you used on your eyelids? Or brownish?
I used some browns. Yes, so I used this little palette here.
Uh-huh.
And I used pretty much all the mattes.
Uh-huh.
And then I used a little bit of the champagne color up here.
Oh.
So
you did your highlight as normal.
I did do highlight, yeah.
Did you do your Cupid's bow?
I did not.
No, you did not. Mm.
Would you like me to?
No, that's okay. Did you put wait a minute.
What?
Did you contour your nose?
I did contour my nose a little bit. Yeah, it didn't work well. It seems it's almost like it just wiped off my foundation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I could say that.
I don't think it actually like did what it was supposed to do.
Are you supposed to do you contour prior to? What?
No, because I was using a powder contour. The powder goes over top. No, that's my foundation.
Okay, because sorry, this Sephora product has a big flammable thing on the back, and its back was towards me, and I saw the little flame. I'm like, what is she doing up here?
There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, that's honey. I was just curious because I saw
the lines,
and I was like, what in the heck?
I fixed it.
What the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
All right.
So overall, it looks all right.
It looks nice.
Okay.
I think you'll I think you'll impress your family.
I did. I told them that today's Mother's Day and that we were going to be hanging out with family today.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Alrighty.
If you like this video, give me a thumbs up down below. Hit that like button so that I know you like this type of video. If you like the chatty get readies with me rather than the just walkthroughs, I can do more of those. Leave that in the comments down below. Let me know if you don't like the chatty ones. If you just want me to do the look and be done with it, put that in the comments down below. I'm really willing to do either way. I got lots of stories I could tell, I guess. Anyway, if you haven't already and you would like to be, please hit that red subscribe button so you know when I'm putting out new videos. I typically put them out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with a couple of bonus videos here and there. So thank you for watching this episode of Epic Beauty Fail, and we will see you next time. Bye!